Well, I mean, I already did it, but I could still give you a countdown.
Oh, you bitch. You horrible bitch. Hi, I'm Grayson. Welcome to episode 2 of A Horrible Take. Today we're going to be talking about kids that kill.
Yeah, and I'm Ashley, but yeah, he didn't introduce me, but yeah, that's me.
You're a grown woman. You're capable of introducing yourself.
Well, I mean, shit, you was opening the show.
Oh, it's take 2. I'm
putting
Grayson,
all this shit in.
And this is little toddler bitch baby Ashley.
Okay. I mean,
yes.
half true.
Bitch baby? Is that true?
I mean, if the loving good enough.
If the loving good enough. Alright then, so we've identified who was a bottom in this episode.
Hey.
I think that about wraps it up. Thank you for listening, everybody. Oh, goddamn. That's a hell of a dry opening if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, and all that shit staying in. So, yeah. Like Perkins said, today we're going to talk about killer kids. And there's fucking one kid is too many. I feel like one killer kid is too many, and there's so fucking many that we want to touch on today. That came out horrible. We don't want to touch on kids. Oh god, that came out.
We're gonna have to edit that one out. We're gonna have to edit that out and edit out me saying you have to edit it out.
God, okay.
Oh, shit.
I just fucking woke up. I just woke up.
No. Leave it in. Definitely leave that in. Oh, holy fuck. Okay.
Oh my god, I caught it like immediately. Like, no.
Before we get into a specific, movie.
Yes.
Or the general topic. I want to make a slight touch on something. I guess we can both do this.
I think we've done touched on enough.
I have never touched on any you.
I mean, I touch on my nos and I touch on my man, and that's about it.
Oh, God. I touch on myself a lot, at least twice a night.
I mean, I would imagine you sound like you're pretty lonely, buddy.
Yeah, I'm very alone. I have a boyfriend, but he's long distance. That doesn't make the goo happen.
Make the goo
happen?
God damn. Okay.
What the fuck?
As
anyway,
you were
I was on something.
Yeah, you definitely on something. That's
holy
for sure.
shit. Okay. As I was saying, when it comes to killer kids that kill, however you want to phrase it, I want to personally say, as a new-ish first-time parent to a now 2-year-old little boy, when I found out I was having a child, due to growing up with horror and the whole kids that kill thing, I was horrified my child was gonna end up one of those fucking creepy little kids. Like, even to this day, he does shit that just unnerves me. And I know it's like normal little kid shit, but due to the horror trope and me growing up with horror, I'm just like, nah, this is some Children of the Corn shit right here. This kid's gonna fucking make me put my hand in boiling water today. I live in constant terror that my son is going to kill me.
So when you told me that you were giving your kid a bath because he was covered in syrup, that was good enough reason for me to not have kids. I thought about like, wow, that bath is gonna take him hours. It's just like, I'm good.
No, actually, shockingly enough, that sounds like a bad thing, but honestly, it's like a 15-20 minutes, and like a solid 90% of that was just him fucking going ape shit in the bathtub.
My brain is like going full Meat Canyon with that though.
What father, the maple.
No, it was because you said that. Honestly, it sounds like a bad thing, but I'm glad he was covered in syrup. It's just like, what the fuck?
When you say it in that voice, it sounds bad. If you were just in your normal words, be like, I'm glad he was covered in syrup. It'd be like a, fuck you kind of jab thing at me for having to deal with a difficult situation. Because we're friends, like, and that's how friends act. But when you say it in that voice, it sounds like Kevin Spacey-ish.
That's not it. That's not all, though. It's like, those maple bangs. Just like, goddamn.
Oh, Jesus. He did get maple syrup in his bangs. That was difficult.
There you go.
Well, not difficult. No, honestly, whenever you hear a parent be all like, yeah, my kid's just covered in... Oh, God, no, I can't say that out. This is a tough episode. There's so many things that
we've already fucked up so much, and it's like, it's too much to edit at this point.
I was going with my first thoughts. Whenever you hear a parent be like, my kid is covered in a sticky substance, and I had to give them a bath. It's never as bad as it sounds, ever.
No, I think it is.
Especially in hot water. Shut up! Shut up! It literally took me 5 minutes to get him clean. The rest of the half hour was he just loves bath time and was... honestly, he almost flooded my apartment bathroom.
Oh, God. I hope your divorce goes well, because I think this episode might be evidence against you, buddy.
Two episodes in, and we'll never get on Spotify or anything because we're going to end up on a watch list.
This past 2 minutes and 25 seconds has just been interesting.
It's only been 2 minutes, 25 seconds?
Since I started my timer.
Oh, sweet fucking God.
Okay.
So much. So just end the episode.
So, like, I don't know. I feel kind of scared to have kids now. Because, I mean, I was an evil little shit, even though there was factors at play there. Cough, cough, abuse, cough. But at the same time, like, I am 100% certified, you know, like, Rotten Tomatoes, fresh, whatever the fuck it is. I'm convinced that I'm gonna have a child, and boy or girl or non-binary, it's gonna be Kevin from We Need to Talk About Kevin.
Oh, is that how we want to start this off? Is that where we want to start with, like...
That is 100% where I want to start off, because I've seen that movie. I watched it fucking months ago, and it stuck with me.
Didn't you just re-watch it to this week as well? Or, like, within the past week or two?
It's fresh in my mind, homeboy. Like, that shit is fucking...
Okay. You're gonna start off... Okay. Fine. We'll start off with that. Alright, well, we're just gonna jump right into it, everybody. We need to talk about Kevin. That is, you know, normally when you think of, you know, horror movies and kids that kill, the first thing that comes to mind is, like, The Exorcist, or Children of the Corn, or, The Omen, you know? Shit like that.
Maybe people that, you know, have just, like, saw, like, the basics of horror, but,
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't even want to call those the basics. Those are all really good movies. It feels a little demeaning to call them basic.
Well, but... I don't mean basic like basic bitch. I mean, like, that's, like, the horror 101.
But when it comes to we need to talk about Kevin, for me, and we're starting off strong here on a personal note, We Need to Talk About Kevin is the scariest movie about kids that kill, because there's no suspension of disbelief. There's no, like...
It's plausible.
Obviously a fantasy. There's no any of... It's all plausible. It happens in real life daily. We have how many fucking school shootings a year here in the United States? Like I don't know the exact fucking number, but, like, it's... I mean, less since COVID, but fucking a lot.
Now they're just home shootings. Fucking Zoom shootings.
Fucking thank God for a worldwide pandemic to stop people from, like, shooting up schools, I guess. I guess if we have to take a positive away from COVID. But, yeah, no, we need to talk about Kevin. I watched that for the first time about, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, and that was That was the second time I saw Ezra Miller in a movie, who is now one of my favorite actors in Hollywood. Just a little side note, personal tidbit there. It's also...
No shit, that was him.
Yeah, Kevin? That's Ezra Miller.
Boy, I was wondering why he was so hot, and I felt so guilty wondering why he was so hot. I couldn't even place it. I couldn't place it.
I can't say that anymore because my son's name is Ezra, and it just feels weird to find Ezra Miller attractive now. I just can't.
So you can't...
He's objectively attractive, but I can't say anything.
You can't picture Ezra covered in maple syrup?
That made me feel gross on the inside. Like, ugh.
Come,
no,
Perkins.
We didn't name our child after Ezra Miller. Okay, let me fix that. The other father didn't name our child after Ezra Miller, but as soon as he suggested that name, that was the first thing that popped in my head, and I said yes. So, I guess by technicalities, I may have named my son after Ezra Miller, but that's not the topic of today's conversation.
This episode ain't painting us in a good light at all.
It's a cool name!
You were like, fuck it, he's hot, let's do it. He's hot, let's name our kid.
That's not what I said. I just thought it was a cool name. God damn it.
I want to drink this energy drink so bad to stay awake, but I can't stop laughing.
But fucking... We need to talk about Kevin. It was like an emotional roller coaster for me before I even had a concept of being a parent in my head. And then literally within like a week or so of finding out I was having a kid, I thought about that movie, and like it's legitimately, that movie has affected my parenting style. Which is my entire life at this point. If anyone who's never had a child ever, it has affected my entire parenting style. I'm such a little bitch now as a parent. I can't spank my kid. I can't raise my voice at him whenever he's like misbehaving or anything.
You can't read him Robin Hood.
I'm the soft parent. Yeah, I can't read him Robin Hood. I'm the soft parent now. Because anytime he does something, he's 2, and he's understands language. He knows what no means. He knows what bad means. He knows when he's doing something he's not supposed to. But even though he'll still do that shit after I tell him no and bad a million times, and he'll look at me, he gives me this little smile, and I'm like... Well, if I beat you and neglect you, you're gonna end up shooting up the school, so I can't do that.
Okay, but like in the movie, Kevin's mother did not beat him. She did not. I don't think she neglected him. I mean, unless I was like completely fucking missing out on something there.
You missed a big point there in that movie. A big point of that movie, which, God, we're gonna touch on some heavy fucking subjects today. I didn't even think prepared to touch on the heavy subjects today. I was just like, yeah, I know like 90% of these movies we're touching on, so this will be an easy episode for me.
We gotta stop saying that we're touching on shit.
Yeah, we do. Not with this episode. No, a big part of that movie is that she never made an emotional connection with Kevin because she suffered from like a postpartum depression.
But she did try. Like the way she held her.
She tried too late, though.
Not really.
Connection.
I don't think so.
All right, from someone who is a parent to someone who is not, I want to hear your opinion on it. I'm gonna let you talk.
I don't know. It's like, I guess maybe there is a different perspective on the film if you are a parent, but as somebody who doesn't have kids and hopefully won't for, the immediate future at least, watching this
Peter
movie...
Molyneux would be disappointed.
Watching this movie, I felt sympathy for the mother, but at the same time, at the same time, I also felt sympathy for Kevin because he was clearly going through some shit. I don't feel like you're just born that way and just think, yo, maybe I should, just fucking kill everybody. I mean, like, my brain has the words perfectly, like, right on the tip of my tongue, but it's like there's this error in translation on trying to say how I feel about this movie, because it's a very conflicting film. It's an extremely conflicting film, because, like, obviously, spoiler alert at this fucking point in the podcast, but the way that Kevin interacts with his dad, the way that, like, his dad reads him the same bedtime story of Robin Hood that his mom would read him, just for events to later unfold with him punishing his mother by killing her husband, by killing his dad. It's kind of curious to me, like, was Kevin just an actor from the beginning? Like, did he ever really truly love his dad, or did he just hate his mother or resent his mother so much to the point where he was willing to take the loss just to punish her for whatever the fuck reason it was that he was punishing her?
Okay, that's fair. Well, I actually agree with you there. I think in the case of the movie that, you know, even in real life, there are circumstances where people are born like that. Obviously, real people like Kevin exist. I'm going to use real human beings that aren't Michael Myers or, like, celebrities that are just assholes on set. Excuse my whiskey burp there. And that one, too. And that one. And that one. You know, Jeffrey Dahmer, there's, you know, circumstances that play into it, but, you know, Jeffrey Dahmer, look at every fucking prolific serial killer ever. You can even see a lot of them from a young age had normal fucking childhoods, or they faced hardships that every kid faces. You know, one parent is mean, or there is a divorce, and then they kill a bunch of people, or whatever. But there's a missing link somewhere. There's something wrong in their brains that makes them do what they do. That's why a lot of the times with serial killers, even if they get the death sentence, it takes years and years for it to happen because, you know, we want to study them and find out what that thing is. And I think in the case of Kevin in the movie, that's kind of what they were conveying. You know, you can still, that's the scariest part of it, you can have as normal and loving of a childhood as you could possibly, any person could possibly fucking want. But some people are just born that way. And that's the scary thing about that movie. That movie haunts me to this day because I'm, you know, my kid's only 2. He acts like a fairly normal 2-year-old, but I'm scared. To this day, I'm fucking, there's a fear in the back of my fucking head, bottom of my heart, where I'm like, oh Christ, what if he fucking grows up to be fucking John Wayne Gacy or some shit?
Yeah, I think that's one aspect to why it's horrifying. Like,
I was giving my personal viewpoint as like,
no, I agree. I just, to me, you know, in my relationship with my mom, like, when I was a kid, like, she was, I guess, the good guy, and her husband at the time was, like, the bad guy. So I would very much so, I would act out every fucking chance I got. And the ass whoopings I got were a little excessive, like parts of broken shelves, you know, like locking me in a closet, like stuff like that. Well, that's like the lighter end of things. And so just trying to look at this movie through my mom's perspective of wanting to change things but having no fucking clue where to start, that overwhelming dread of, I don't want to say failure, but there's no other word that comes to mind that's better suiting, but that overwhelming fear of failure that not just one would face in that situation, but one would face, I guess, at conception or even birth of their child, of knowing that there is a chance you could fuck things up horribly and just you can't fix it. That's what was really scary for me with We Need to Talk About Kevin. Because Lord knows I don't want to repeat what my mom did with me. I knew she wanted to help, but I also knew she was so young and so naive and blatantly just so fucking stupid that she had no idea what to do, even with resources at her disposal. I mean, I was no Kevin, but it's still very frightening. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, absolutely. I know what you're trying to fucking say. It's... oh, I gotta deal with that myself.
It's like, what do you do?
I mean, in that case, I mean, for like a real life honest answer, the best you can do is, you know, even if you have the inkling that your child may have gone through something troubling or anything, therapy.
Yeah, but I mean, I've been in therapy since I was in fucking elementary school. And
was it effective therapy though, or was it like public funded therapy?
Well, no, there was... At first they started in school, like they would take me and a couple other fucked up kids, we would have like group therapy and shit. And then the school was like, okay, she's a little more fucked up than we thought. Kind of bringing the other kids down in group therapy. So,
bringing the other kids down in group therapy.
So let's go ahead and get y'all a little outside of school, after school, keep that shit away from here therapy. And, you know,
so... We're gonna handle, like, you're having trouble with grades kind of therapy, not like, this is gonna affect you for the rest of your life therapy.
Well, I mean, it was both. Like, I was such a perfectionist at school because I knew I could control my environment at school. As provided I wasn't having, like, an anxiety attack or anything, I knew I could control my environment at school. So I was a goody fucking two-shoes at school. I didn't get in trouble for shit. Like,
oh, see, I was the opposite. I acted the fuck out in school. I was a goody two-shoes at home.
Yeah, no, not me. Not me.
Yeah, no, I acted the fuck out at school.
But, like, my point is that even though therapy helped me, it only helped me to a certain extent. Like, they say you have to make your own closure. You can't rely on other people for closure. You especially, like, the people that caused you to want closure to begin with. That's a lesson I'm constantly having to learn, is that you're going to have to make your own closure. But therapy kind of helps with that, and at the same time, it doesn't really. So, I mean, I'm kind of at the middle of the road with that. I'd rather have therapy than not have it at all. That kind of thing. And even then, I feel like somebody like Kevin could just charm their way through it.
Kevin is a textbook psychopath.
And you know who else is? I feel like the next movie we should talk about, fucking textbook crazy motherfucker, and a mother who handled it in the right way. Oh, that's gonna get some backlash. Is fucking Henry Evans, the good son.
Oh my god. I'll let you start this one off.
Boy, okay. So, like, I knew the general gist of The Good Son, but I didn't watch it for the first time until last night, while I was fucking drinking. Like, I stayed up late and just fucking threw back them fucking Miners Golds and watched this movie so intently, knowing I had the living room to myself.
Miners Gold?
Oh, there's a brewery out here called Lewis and Clark Brewery. It's fucking good. It's so good. I gotta get the can to read it to you, but, like, it's in the trash, and I ain't moving. So, but yeah. I was glued to this movie the moment Henry shot that fucking dog.
Yeah.
I was only fucking just, like, perma-bonded to this movie at that point, because I wanted to see that little motherfucker get his just desserts, and that shit wasn't disappointing.
That movie's fucked up.
Yeah, no shit, it's fucked up. I don't think I have you on Snapchat, but I was Snapchatting all the way through that fucking movie. I was like, this is why they left you home alone, Macaulay, you little piece of shit. Like, and then
I feel bad for Macaulay Culkin.
And his little sister was in that movie. Like, I was like, oh, I wonder who fucking Quinn Culkin is. And I was like, oh, okay. Strong family resemblance. But that movie was a fucking trip, man. Like, how could you not know that your kid is doing that shit? Like, I don't want to cast too much judgment on this fictional mother, but still.
I would have known from immediately as soon as the ice skating thing happened.
But she was in so fucking denial. The only thing that took her out of that fucking denial was the rubber ducky.
Yeah, the rubber duck was a fucking... I mean, that's classic fucking serial killer keeping a trophy. You know?
He didn't even have to admit it. He didn't even have to fucking admit it. Because when she found it and he was like, it was mine before it was his. And that serious fucking just like there was like a gloss to his face. Like it was just glossed over.
Yeah, he was just like, it was mine first. And I'm like, bruh, you need to fucking commit this child to a facility.
Like, not enough words to articulate a proper sentence on how scary that must have felt. How scary it must have been to, like, have that guilt for so long, thinking that you had a part to play in your child's death, when really it was somebody that you held so close and dear to your heart that went out of their way to see that death happen. Like,
yeah.
That's just fucking traumatizing.
I am weaker than the woman in that movie. Ezra just has to give me a little smile, and I'm like, I'll just fucking murder whoever you want, kid. I'll just, they're dead.
So you telling me if you went into fucking Ezra's little creepy shack somewhere and found a rubber ducky from your baby that just died and confronted him on it, and he was like, I don't know, Dad, I kind of like that rubber ducky. It was mine first. You'd be like, okay, baby. Okay,
I'd
baby.
Be like, you know what, buddy? You're right. It was yours first. How dare that little shithead take... I'm just kidding.
They're $1. I could have bought another one at any point.
I could have bought another one. That was rude of me. This is my fault. Okay, I mean, fuck, that's putting me in a tough position, because I fucking love Ezra.
But, like, we've done said rubber ducky too much. We have done said rubber ducky a little too much, and now I'm picturing Macaulay Culkin's
rubber
character, as fucking Ernie, the good Ernie.
Can we talk about the
good
Macaulay
Muppet?
Culkin? That scene in that fucking movie where he pushes the kid in the wheelchair, though.
Oh my God.
I know it's supposed to be like I can't believe a child would do this, but the way it's shot is fucking hilarious.
There's actually a lot of good angles in this movie.
That's not one of them, because it's supposed to be scary, and that's the whole movie, I was like personally invested, because I have a kid, and I was like, oh man, I can't imagine what the mother's going through, or the father, this must be difficult. And in that scene, I was just laughing my ass off.
That's fucking hilarious. That's not one of them.
Yeah, but that's not one of them. That's the scenes.
Did you, you remember the scene where they're running? Like, they're running back to the house from, where was it that they were running from? It's when they were still friends. They were running, I guess, back to the house from, breaking all the windows and shit. I think that was it. Like I said, I was drinking. But you could tell who was who from running. They had all them winter clothes on. And I remember looking to my boyfriend and going, you know, that one in the front is is Frodo, because he ran like that all the way to fucking Mordor. And for some reason, that was enough to just fucking break me.
Oh, God.
And then, like, when you see somebody that stars in one movie and then you see him in another, it's kind of, at least hard for me to separate the two characters. The entire time in this, the entire time in this movie, I knew Macaulay was Henry, and I knew that Elijah was Mark, but my brain was like, no, it's Macaulay and Frodo.
You saw Kevin from fucking Home Alone and Frodo.
Pretty much.
Hey, yo, Kevin had enough shit happen to him in Home Alone 1 and 2, so this movie happened.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, he was done taking shit.
Yeah, like, they were like, we're tired of you leaving your kid home alone. We're gonna rehome him since y'all want to leave your kid home alone. And then, this happened. This happened.
You know, understanding, I can't say I understand. I could see a less attentive parent than I leaving their kid home alone on accident once, especially with all the chaos that happens in that movie. And I think, we're not going to officially talk about it, but I think we should count Home Alone as killer kids. Even though no one died in those movies.
He was straight fucking murking people.
In real life, any of that shit would kill a man. Just about any of that shit would kill a man.
No shit.
Especially when that dude gets electrocuted.
That's what I was thinking. Like, if something happens to you, and I could briefly at any fucking point see your skeleton, shit ain't looking good. It's not looking good for you.
If I can at any point see your skeleton.
It's not looking good.
It's funny when you say it out loud, but you're not wrong.
I mean, no, that's some best gore shit. He could have easily been uploading shit up there.
Edit this out if you want, but also a little tip to the whiskey drinkers of the podcast that listen.
Okay.
If you like Jack and Coke like I do, and I do, I really like Jack and Coke.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Buy Coca-Cola Minis, buy a 12-pack of that, and just a normal 750 milliliter bottle of Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey. Those little Coke cans mix perfectly with 2 shots Jack.
You know, only because of how fucking random and out of place that was. Have you ever watched Danger 5?
Yes, I love Danger 5!
That sounds exactly like a fucking random ass ad that they would put in the middle of Danger 5.
You're not wrong.
Coca-Cola Minis. Right. They make one hell of a Jack and Coke. Like, it's just so fucking random.
I was only saying that because I'm making another Jack and Coke right now, and I bought Coca-Cola Minis for it off of a whim today, and it has turned out perfectly. 2 shots of Jack, 1 Coca-Cola Mini. Perfect.
It's still going. The commercial's still playing.
By the way, Jack Daniels and or the Coca-Cola Company, hit me up. You know, free advertising.
Sponsor.
If you want to, yeah, sponsor. Well, I think, personally, my headcanon is that Home Alone and The Good Child take place in the same timeline.
The Good Son?
The Good Son, sorry. Take place in the same timeline. And the good son is the result of what happened in Home Alone. It psychologically, in real life, it makes sense. This kid was fucking abandoned multiple times and left to fend for himself.
Right, exactly.
Then the good son happens.
And so, like, sense. The only fucking memory he had, the only fucking keepsake he had of his old home with his original parents before they left him home alone was a rubber ducky. And so when that bitch lets fucking... Oh my goddamn. Jesus Christ. That's probably what he was singing when he was letting his baby brother drown, you know?
Oh God, I want to laugh, but it also makes me sad because Ezra was a baby not too long ago, and his little baby face... Who wants to hear me cry on a podcast today?
Cry into your mixed drink.
Cry into my mixed drink? Oh, it wouldn't be the first time. We're all laughing. We're having fun.
Everybody laughing but you, bud. There was one movie I wanted to go over. I just wanted to watch the original. Well, I don't... Like, it wasn't my first time watching it. I kind of wanted to revisit the original, because the remake was just kind of like blent to the point that I forgot about it almost completely. Village of the Damned. Did you get a chance to watch that?
Village of the Damned? Oh, I've seen that.
Ain't that one hell of a good movie?
Oh, fuck yes it is. Like, especially for a movie made in 1990 fucking 5, it holds
Homeboy,
up.
no
Also,
sir. No sir, my dude. 19 fucking 60.
Oh, the original.
Yes, that 95 is booty compared to that 60.
Okay, hear me out here. Hear me out. I know it's not as good as, you know what? I'm gonna have to admit, I've actually never seen the original Village of the Damned.
Oh, my dude.
I've seen like clips and stuff, and I can tell it's like creepier, but hear me out here. The 90s version, I know it's nowhere near as good, and it's booty bad.
Booty bad.
But it stands out to me, and I have personal feelings towards it because it has some of my all-time favorite people in it. I mean, fucking Christopher Reeve is in it.
Yeah.
Also, your favorite impression is in it.
She's not in it. That's fucking Kirstie Alley, homeboy.
Wait, fuck, it is?
That's Kirstie Alley.
They look the same to me.
Fucking Jennifer Coolidge.
They look the same to me!
Oh my god, all these crazy kids. Think of a brick wall.
Want an abortion real bad.
Is she just walking through the movie the entire time going, think of a brick wall. Think of a brick wall. Like, like, god damn.
I almost fell off my fucking chair on that. You know John Carpenter is in that as well?
Yeah, he's the dude at the gas station. Like, it's very brief, but yeah.
The John Carpenter is in the shitty 1995 remake of Village of the...
So, like,
actually,
they must have been like, hey, we're gonna fuck up this movie. You want to join? He's like, yeah, fuck it.
We're gonna really shit all over an entire legacy today.
I want to point out how the hero, I guess you can call him, of the movie is one of the least supportive, shittiest fucking people in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, his wife gets pregnant and he goes, I'm elated, I'm like, we're blessed. And then halfway through the fucking movie, that shit changes. It's Anthea's son, not mine as far as we know it. I'm like, homeboy, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Can we fucking point out real quick? This motherfucker was like, oh, we're having a child. I'm elated. We're blessed. Bro, every woman and girl of childbearing age gave birth on the same fucking day. And they were 7-month fetuses that were born at only 5 months. And this motherfucker's like, we're just blessed. I'm like, nah, you're cursed, motherfucker. This is the work of Satan.
And like, at a certain fucking point, it felt like him and all the other scientists and all the men in their fucking area was just teaming up to see how they could get out of paying child support. That's all that shit seemed like to me. Like,
yeah, that does the way is what it sounds like.
We need a solution. I ain't paying fucking 23 cents a month. Like, come the fuck on, bruh.
Fucking for real.
Like, it also felt like, even after they found out that this shit had happened all over the globe, that somehow they were still convinced that this wasn't some power greater than them, that their wives were just hoes, that all the women in a fucking village just decided to, you know, just fuck around at the same day and get pregnant the same day. Like, come on. Come the fuck on.
The reason I think that makes sense is because as a bisexual man who has dealt with both men and women my whole life, men are dumb as shit.
Yeah.
Really, we are dumb. We're fucking stupid. If you're a man and you're listening to this, you're dumb. You're dumb. That's
Thank you
just,
for tuning in.
I don't know why. I don't know what I'm more confused by. I don't know if I'm more confused that you said that in a Jennifer Coolidge voice, or if I'm more confused by the fact that like it makes sense that you said it in a Jennifer Coolidge voice. But no, that movie requires just like most horror movies, it requires, depending on your spiritual affiliation, a suspension of disbelief. But the one realistic thing about that movie is that men are stupid as shit. So the original is better. Yes. But the 1995 version has the boiling of Barbara's hand, which, as bad as the 1995 version is a very iconic scene in horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you brought up, oh, we should do an episode on kids that kill, that was the first thing I thought of right there. Is that scene where he makes, like, the mother boil her fucking hand. That, to this day, I'm, like, super cautious around boiling water. I make pasta, like, 2 to 3 times a fucking week. And to this day, I, like, keep a distance from boiling water because of that shit. Scared one day Ezra's gonna look at me and be like, Father, put your hand in the water.
But, like, mentally, right?
Make me smile. No, he could say it out loud, and I'll be like, anything to make you smile, buddy.
Fuck that.
You say that, but you never had a kid before. It's different. I'm the doting father.
Yeah.
But he'd come up to me and be at 4 years old and say, Father, another child called me a duty head. And I stabbed him 37 times. What do I do? And I'll fucking throw his body into a fucking pig pen and let them eat it and then burn the bones. Okay,
Yo,
disclaimer, I don't know how to dispose. The only reason I know how to dispose of a body is because of another podcast I listen to, which isn't a fucking good inclination, but it's a very popular podcast. They would be really fucking hilarious good sports of this, and they are the reason that I decided I want to do a horror / serial killer themed podcast. So Henry Zabrowski specifically is what inspires my type of humor. If you haven't listened to him and you like this, do that.
Homeboy, like, what I'm worried about more so than having a Kevin of my own or winding up with a Henry of my own is this fucking episode or any other episode of this fucking show being used in a court case against me or you. Cause
motherfucker, I am going through a divorce. Thank God my ex-husband does not give a single iota of a fuck about what I do, because he'll never listen to this. He will, out of spite, he'll just be like, fuck his podcast, I don't want to hear it. And it'll never come up. That's my saving grace, is that me and him were both so toxic to each other during our entire marriage that we don't want anything to do with the other one right now. So
great segue. You're saying that if one of y'all passed away, a pet cemetery would not be an option.
Oh God.
You would not bury your own.
If one of us passed, I mean, I wouldn't say it wouldn't be an option because, you know, as much as we hate each other, we both really love our child.
Like,
yeah.
Y'all both would deserve better, like Gage. Like, Gage didn't deserve to be buried in a pet cemetery.
No.
Like,
absolutely not. That's really, I mean, okay. Controversial take for anybody who's never had a child or anybody who has a child but isn't like a big softing doting father. I would never do it. But if I could understand being told by somebody, oh, if you bury your dead son here, they can come back to life. I 100% understand why especially in that very fresh, your son died like 3 days ago state, I could very much understand doing it. You know, as someone who doesn't have kids, I understand you looking at me and being like, what a fucking idiot. But like,
But like Lewis saw what happened. Lewis saw what happened when they buried the cat.
Yeah, but you know, cats are fucking dicks anyway. And then now I don't hate cats. I don't want anybody here to think I fucking hate cats.
You think you hate fucking cats?
Oh shit! No, I don't want to fuck a cat. I don't hate the animals. I love cats. I prefer cats, actually. Well, cats are my second choice next to reptiles.
Boy, we don't need to get into animal preferences.
Anyway, shit.
I like the elephant exhibit.
Actually, I prefer the lion exhibit because cats.
Jesus, anyway.
Fucking Christ. Oh shit, I love doing this shit. Anyway, I mean, I've had a nice handful of cats in my life, and no matter how sweet and nice they can be, cats can just be fucking assholes and attack you out of fucking nowhere. It doesn't fucking matter what kind of cat you have, how old it is, how long you've had it, how sweet it's acted. It doesn't fucking matter. They're temperamental. The cat can just fucking be a dickhead out of nowhere. So I can understand why the cat would act that way, and he'd be like, oh, it's just a cat. It's just a fucking cat. Because that can happen to fucking anybody. And as a parent who has a personal attachment to the subject, I can say, I mean, I wouldn't personally do it, but I mean, I would never bury my son in a pet cemetery if, God forbid, anything bad ever happened to him and he passed away, because that's disrespectful. But if I was told by, if a since I live in fucking Texas, if a southern sounding man came up to me and said, I wouldn't go down that road then.
But
after telling me that it would bring my son back to life,
yeah, but like
I can understand doing it in a moment of grief.
But even then, he knew the story of Timmy. It's not like Judd didn't think, hey, he could use this for a human at any time.
You know what? I'm gonna bring this personal joke into this conversation. Me and another friend of mine, not related to this in any way, we fucking joke about Judd all the time. What a fucking asshole that guy is. For real. This
Not
man,
really, though.
I don't know what... Yes, really!
No, because it's the malevolent forces. It's the malevolent forces that surround that cemetery that compelled Judd to tell everybody how to fucking use the cemetery, because it needed to keep the cycle going.
Okay.
He couldn't help it.
I'm just stupid, which, you know, I am a man, and as I said earlier in this podcast, men do be dumb as fuck. Maybe I'm just fucking stupid and dumb as fuck, but not once during the Pet Cemetery movies did I ever see anything that pointed towards the malevolent forces made Judd do this. I just saw, like I see every day in the state of Texas, a shitty southern man sticking his nose in somebody's business where it doesn't belong.
I kind of agree, though.
literally, there's like later scenes of the movie that kind of hint that malevolent forces made him do it, but like the scene where he comes up to the dad and it's just all like, the Pet Cemetery brings things back to life, but they come back different.
You gotta bury your own.
You gotta bury your own. Go down that road there.
So,
South Park had the best depiction of that motherfucker ever. It's the most accurate shit. Go down that road though. Like, motherfucker, nobody asked you. We barely know you. Are you just saying this to me after a couple days after my son got hit by a fucking semi-truck? Fuck you.
So, like, I'm not sure if you're on Snapchat or not, but they have this filter right now where it's a straw hat with a piece of straw in your mouth.
I am, and you should know, we just went over this earlier this episode, we have each other on Snapchat. I made a group on it of me, you, and Sam, and then you
don't see it.
motherfuckers never used it, and so I stopped using it. Like,
I never see y'all posting on there. It's like 3 people that I see posting on there regularly.
I
But anyway,
posted on there like a dozen times, and nobody ever responded to anything. So I was like, "Fuck you guys! I'm gonna post pictures of my butthole somewhere else."
so last night when I was watching The Good Son, I was painting my nails and stuff, and I was doing the clear coat, and the clear coat on the lid, and like I guess it's like French or something. It says Nouvelle Technologie Prostate, and then it says the same thing in English. But my brain, my like fucking 2 beers in brain, saw prostate and thought it said prostate. And as soon as I saw that filter with the straw hat and the little piece of like wheat or whatever the fuck it was in your mouth, I was like, I have to do this. I have to make a pet cemetery, a Judd Snapchat. And so somebody needs to take my fucking phone away from me after like 9 p.m. But I held up the clear coat and was like, remember now, before you go up that hill to bury your own, be sure to put your clear coat on your prostate. I was just like, why? Like, why?
No, I saw that notification pop up on my phone, but I was already asleep for fucking bedtime last night. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be up there. It's gonna be up there until like, I think like 10 o'clock tonight, like 11 your time, bud.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that shit out.
Wait, hold on.
Also,
I can pull it up real quick. You can fucking... Let me look. Let me make sure my volume's turned up. Here we go. Oh, here we go. I look so stupid. Like, I'm just looking at the little icon of my face.
I'm gonna mute myself real quick, because I'm not gonna be able to stop myself from laughing and ruining the audio.
No, here.
Go back up there to that pet cemetery now. Make sure you put your clear coat on your prostate first.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Let's see who looked at that. Oh, fuck. But yeah.
I've painted my nails many a time. Never once have I been like, I should put this clear coat in my asshole today. By the way, as someone who has to do driving for a living, that semi-truck was doing a shitty fucking job.
Well, think about how long they're on the road.
No, fuck them. No,
like I'm not saying sympathize with a guy because he hit a kid. Like, he was tired. He should have been alert. 100% he should have been alert. But that doesn't like trigger anything in me to think that Lewis had any justification for burying his child somewhere where he knew he wasn't going to get the result that he wanted. It only put...
Okay, alright, I think you might be viewing it in a different light than me. For me, in the light I view it, is he wasn't looking for a specific result.
He was just looking for that hole to be filled. He wanted his son back, right? I get that.
He wanted his son back.
He wanted to stop grieving. Grief is fucking horrible.
Up until the point where the son starts doing creepy, violent shit, I sympathize with the father in that movie. Because I get it. I get it. Fucking nothing awful or, like, actually life-threatening has ever happened to my son. But, you know, other parents who listen to this will understand, you think about it all the fucking time. Every day, no matter what. You could be fucking at work, zoning the fuck out, doing whatever the fuck you do at work, and all of a sudden you think, what if X happened to my kid? And then you panic about it. Especially if you're a first-time parent, that shit freaks you the fuck out. And all you can think in that moment, at least for me personally, is I would do anything to stop that or rectify it if it happened. So
I mean,
for like the first quarter to a third of the movie, I sympathize with the father because he lost his son, you know, and that's hard. That's hard. Losing anybody is hard. Loss for anyone is hard. I know that. to a very personal degree that I'm not going to get into on this podcast. But I know that. I know how difficult loss can be. And I couldn't imagine what it's like losing a child. So, from a, when I can understand what I perceive as your perceptive to be, that, like, up to a certain point, you have to hold the father accountable, which, you're right, but I understand on a personal note why he did what he did, and why he ignored the problem for so long. Not that he's right, because he definitely should have fucking, A, never done that shit, and B, once he figured out it was a problem, go all fucking Negan with Lucille on that fucking zombie bastard child. But I get it. You understand what I mean?
Yeah. I think out of all the killer kids we've discussed so far, Gage is probably the most painful, but he's also the less terrifying.
Okay, so Gage is like, you said Gage is like the least terrifying, right?
At least for me, he was. Out of just solely based off what we've discussed so far, Gage was the least terrifying, but he was the second most painful, I guess, tied most painful with Kevin.
Emotionally and physically, yes. Gage has been one of the biggest fears in my life, simply because of that scene where he cuts Achilles
I knew
tendon.
it was fucking coming. I don't do foot injuries in a movie.
You can't talk about this movie without that scene. The entire fucking population in the world, anybody who's ever seen this movie,
oh god, no, my fucking feet hurt.
Feel the pain of that scene.
Oh
shit,
dude, and like I love Fred Gwynn. I fucking love Fred Gwynn. Like, I saw him as fucking Herman Munster just doing his own thing around his house, and his little fucking Charles Lee Ray hand comes out from under the bed and fucking slices. No! I don't do foot injuries or hand injuries in movies. I don't. Like, it's like the second worst thing to killing the animal in a movie, unless that animal fucking deserved it. But it's, yeah, not fun.
When you say the animal deserved it, you mean in circumstances like Cujo.
Yeah, I mean, I like Cujo, but
we may have to do an episode on later. Is like animals that kill. Later, we haven't discussed that yet. Anyway, literally about like an hour and 15 minutes ago, give or take, I was I don't want to give away too many personal details, but my job involves a lot of walking in steel-toed boots. So a lot of flat-foot type walking, if anyone who's listening has ever worked in steel-toed boots or boots in general. It's a very flat-foot type of moving around. So my ex-husband went to his friends with our son for a few hours and asked me, can you help me carry the child down to the car seat? And I was like, absolutely. No problem. That's our child. While I was walking downstairs, I walk flat-foot so much, and I have pretty big arches in my feet, I kept, like, almost pulling a muscle in the sole of my foot. And the first fucking thing I thought of was, like,
that
my
scene?
Achilles tendon just got cut. Yeah, that fucking scene. The first thing I thought, even though the pain wasn't
distressing.
in my Achilles tendon.
On stairs, even?
It happened like 4 or 5 times during the walk downstairs that I almost pulled a muscle in the sole of my foot because of how I'm used to walking at work now. Like, the fact that even a pain in the foot that isn't anywhere near the Achilles tendon happened, and that's the first thing I thought of, speaks volumes of that fucking scene. Christ alive, that scene has haunted me since I was like 6 or 7 years old.
Dude, okay, like, speaking of pains reminding you of movies, I guess this is also a good segue.
Yeah.
I was in the kitchen the other day, I was cooking the chicken that we had left over, because I was going to make, like, 4 people chicken Alfredo, but I only wound up making some for me and my boyfriend. But So I was cooking that second piece of chicken, and I thought I closed the spice cabinet back up, but I bonked my head on the cabinet door, and immediately, like that, just like a flash in my brain of oh god, I think her name was Lisa. Lisa's mom in The Brood getting clocked over the head.
Ooh, yeah, that I think of that. You see, okay, I'm only 5'10". I'm not a tall man. I'm fairly normal slash short for like the general man. But I'm tall enough that my small kitchen, if I don't watch my head, I will fucking catch the corners of those fucking cabinets all the time. And anytime I do, I think of that.
No, her name was Nola. My bad. Her name was Nola. I think Lisa was the teacher.
I'm really bad with names in general, no matter what.
Dude, I'm fucking horrible with names.
Name because we've been friends for like a dozen years.
Well, thank you. Thank you for remembering my name.
You're welcome, Brittany.
Oh, what was, oh, fuck. You called me Brittany, not just, like, disoriented my shit.
Let me guess, the first thought in your mind, it's Brittany, bitch.
No, my fucking first thought in my mind is, who the fuck is Lisa? Like, I had to look up the cast of this movie, because I was like, there's somebody in this movie named Lisa. Ain't a fucking person in this movie named Lisa. Where the fuck did I get the name Lisa?
Probably me and Sam in the chat talking about Lisa Trevor.
Probably. But yeah, like, I actually really enjoyed The Brood. I thought that, you know, these little kids were just fucking evil, and then when it came out that, you know, they were like an embodiment of Nola's rage, I was like, damn, why didn't I have that when I was a kid? I could have fucking used that. I could have used, right? Yeah, I could have used some little fucking minions as an embodiment of my rage.
To be fair, Hal in that movie is kind of a shitty psychotherapist.
Yeah, like he didn't even talk things out with people. He just legit just had a conversation with them, being the person they were angry at. I kind of blamed him for why all this shit was happening, because he knew, like, once he put together what Nola was going through, and like the murders and stuff, he still went ahead and had that discussion with her, pretending to be the school teacher, pretending to be fuck, what was her name? Ruth. I think it was Ruth. And then what do you know? Next day, fucking Ruth gets murdered in front of all of her students.
Yep.
It kind of tickled me, though. That scene kind of tickled me, because only one kid out of all of them was smart enough to run somewhere and get help. Everybody else just, like, looked like they would have pulled a phone out in this modern time and started screaming World Star.
An army of fucking definitely not different than other kids screaming World Star as a person gets, like, murdered is hilarious to me. I can't even. Maybe I'm jaded due to all the horror media I've absorbed and all the violent video games and the horrible upbringing I had, but that is just hilarious to me. Just like, I imagine an army of my son being like, World Star! World Star! As, like, a person gets beat to death mercilessly, and something about that makes me laugh.
Man, I wish you wouldn't have told me that your kid was covered in syrup. Because now everything you tell me about your kid, I picture him, like, pouring syrup on himself while doing it. Like, fucking...
Okay, to be fair, he didn't grab a syrup bottle and dump himself in it. His other parent gave him pancakes, which I bought, and decided, let's be nice to the toddler, and let's give him... I usually just give him pancakes straight, nothing on them. He loves pancakes. He doesn't need syrup or anything, but Oliver's like, let's give him some pancakes. And, let's give him just a little bit of syrup, but Oliver misjudged the amount of syrup, and Ezra just rubbed syrup-covered pancakes all over his body.
Okay, so like, that movie was really fucking good, but I think what sold it for me was all the way, like, the very last scene of the movie. The very, very fucking last scene of the movie, where Candace has the same, like, I guess, lesions, I guess, if you want to call them, on her arm.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh shit! With all the shit she just went through, you know she's gonna be having some fucking little killer brood babies of her own. You just know it. And ain't nobody gonna believe the dad. Nobody gonna fucking believe the dad, because the therapist is dead. The therapist was the only one that fucking believed him. But, and also that scene where the therapist went, I guess, I don't know what you would want to call it, I guess the monster's nest. That's basically what it was.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right on that. That is what Candace was a living monster's nest, essentially.
Well, no, I'm talking like the room where they were keeping Candace when he had to walk in there to get Candace, and he was saying, I need you to keep Nola calm.
We're on separate but similar wavelengths. I think Candace herself was a monster's nest.
I mean, she was definitely one source of the mom's frustration.
No, but like, if you pay attention, if you see it, like...
If you pay attention, boy.
Yeah, no, I corrected myself, because that was the wrong phrase to use. You definitely paid attention. Women, am I right, fellas?
My fucking god, boy. They love licking babies they pull out of their gestational sex. Like...
Ooh, good episode. Bye. Fucking. But like, I think Candace herself is the monster's nest, because you see I'm bad with names once again, but the therapist like strangles her, and all the brood dies.
You mean Nola?
No, oh fuck yeah. So, like I said, bad with names.
And it wasn't the therapist. The therapist didn't strangle Nola. It was her husband.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm really bad with names and shit. Unless I'm like an Uber fan of something, names all blend together for me. This isn't...
And you drinking, so I mean, it's not like a win-win situation trying to have a discussion with you.
Hold on. I've only had 2 Jack and Cokes this whole... I've had 4 shots of Jack mixed with Coke. I'm not drunk. I'm not even tipsy.
So...
The man strangles the woman connected to the brood, since I'm bad with names, and the brood dies. And then she develops scars, which lead to like maybe a potential follow-up, but that never happened. But I think she is more of the nest for the brood than like the room is, personally.
Nola or Candace? The woman who was like sending these things to kill, like subconsciously or literally? Or are you talking about Candace, the daughter?
The one who is sending these things to kill.
Okay, so Nola. I mean...
Yes, Nola. I think she was more... Think about the literal definitions of like a hive mind, which was definitely, in my opinion, what the kids were in this movie.
Well, yeah, but like
It was definitely a hive mind. I think she was the one who is what you would consider the nest. And now we're in like suspension of disbelief, so I have 0 personal feelings towards this, but like, it's a really fucking good movie. Like, I really like this movie. My favorite kind of like horror stuff is like the bottom line type, you can't explain it in real life type of horror, you know?
See, I'm kind of the opposite. Like, a good horror to me is, it could really happen. Like we need to talk about Kevin or The Good Son. Both of those.
I'm in agreement to you to a point, but for me, it's like when you can tie it to real life, it's like more immediately scary. But when you tie it to, like, reality, there are things we can do to help with that, to mitigate it. So during the movie, I'm thinking, why didn't they just do this?
But I mean, at the same time, like, there could be shit happening like The Brood, where it's like, hey, this can't happen in real life at all. And I still would think, man, that's a fucking great movie. Because...
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, what would you do? Like, what the... Like, John Quinones, what would you do? Like...
Fair enough.
Could you see him trying to interview the grandpa after fucking grandma was just brutalized?
That's fair. I can't. I don't have an argument against that. You're just right.
It's like, what would you do? I mean, the teacher, all she was doing was just babysitting. I mean, yeah, she went over there to, like, you know, get some fuck, but ultimately she just wound up babysitting, and she couldn't translate that. She couldn't convey that message to Nola, who's calling up the house fucking batshit crazy off a rocker. And then Dr. Hal didn't even want to, like, amuse the idea to his patient, as a therapist should, that, hey, why are we just jumping into the fucking worst case scenario when we could, you know, play the what if game? What if she was just there to babysit? She's the teacher. Like, I mean, yeah, she's not a babysitter, but she's a teacher. She's somebody who is a positive role model in children's life. He didn't even do that. He was just like, oh, well, you need to get out of the picture. Just divorce him. Make the kid's life easier. Like, that basically just fucking fueled Ruth's death. Miss Mayer's death. And then
yes.
He didn't even try to fucking stop it. Didn't even try to fucking contact Frank and be like, okay, so here's the fucking situation about your wife. Didn't even...
Yes, divorce. Always the best thing for a child, emotionally and mentally speaking. Never once has divorce affected kids
ever.
There's definitely not a history of that.
In parentheses, obvious sarcasm.
Fucking Christ. Yeah, you know what? What a shitty therapist.
And then, like, the only person that stood to suffer through all of this, I mean, obviously Frank, because Frank went through a lot of shit, but Candace. Like, she witnessed her grandma dying. Her fucking grandfather died as a result. And then, I mean, she didn't see her grandpa die, but now she's out of grandma, she's out of grandpa, and essentially she's out of mom, which, I mean, she was out of mom to begin with, because her mom, like, loosely saying this, her mom was not her mom. Her mom wasn't in a place to be her mom. So I think if they would, like, try to make a sequel out of this, where they left it is a great fucking starting point for Candy to be the killer kid. For Candy to be the killer kid and the Brood to, like, be her backup.
So I don't want to say it's impossible to make a follow-up to The Brood, because it's definitely possible. We've had a movie from the 80s have a sequel current day, very current day, within the past fucking, like, 16 months current day, and it was a successful, great follow-up. I personally, we don't need to have this discussion right now. I personally love Dr. Sleep. Love that movie. So mostly I agree with you, but on the other hand, having a follow-up to a movie made in the 80s has also proven very unsuccessful in the past. Die Hard.
But, like, I think Candy has great justification and a definitely pent-up anger to want to unfold in the future. I think that would be a great movie.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that.
It's about time we wrap up.
What is the next episode? Because I'm stupid and...
Well, man. I can tell you right now, I'll be just as excited as you to find out.
So we're both terrible, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Tell me I have to dig through our Facebook messengers and bring up the fucking The fucking PDF you sent me for it.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying.
That is exactly what you're saying. You know what? As much as I want to give you shit for that, I can't because you're right. I'm gonna have to go through a messenger after this and be like, oh fuck, what's episode 3?
Yeah, no shit. But I am glad that everybody who tuned in today tuned in to see our like really, really fucking, not just a horrible take, but really shitty take on Killer Kids, especially with as many more movies as we could have covered. We just ran out of time. And with that being said, we will see you in 2 weeks.